Welcome back to Luxury Xplore. Our next story comes with a sinking feeling. It's about China, the second most populous nation in the world. It is home to 1.4 billion people, and now the land is sinking underneath their feet. Curious about what it is I'm talking about? Well, stay tuned as we unravel the reasons behind China's sinking. China's rapid urbanization is not just transforming its skyline, but also causing a massive problem underground. Nearly half of China's urban areas are sinking. Yes, you heard that right. Sinking at a rate of over 3 millimeters per year. This may sound small, but it affects a whopping 29% of the population. That's about 406 million people living on land that's slowly but surely going down. Even more concerning, 16% of these urban areas are sinking at a rate of more than 10 millimeters per year. This rapid sinking impacts around 67 million people. The problem of land subsidence is bad enough on its own, but when you add rising sea levels due to climate change, you get a dangerous mix. This dual threat makes China extremely vulnerable to flooding. As the land continues to sink, we can expect these catastrophic events to become more frequent and severe. China's rapid urbanization has led to a massive increase in groundwater extraction. Why? Because there simply isn't enough surface water to meet the demand. So cities turn to groundwater, pumping it out to keep up with the growing needs. But as these underground aquifers get depleted, the ground above starts to collapse and sink. It's a double whammy: heavy buildings and excessive groundwater extraction. Together, these factors are driving the land subsidence that's affecting millions. Tianjin is one of the fastest sinking places in China. Streets have suddenly split apart, giant cracks have appeared, and thousands of residents have had to evacuate. And then there's Shanghai, a major financial and manufacturing hub. This bustling metropolis is also sinking rapidly, posing a significant risk to its economic vitality and infrastructure. Despite the severity of the situation, the response from the Chinese government has been insufficient. While some measures have been taken, such as introducing laws to control groundwater extraction in Beijing and limiting water withdrawal in Shanghai and surrounding areas, these efforts have been uneven and inadequate. Many other cities have not received the same level of attention or resources, leading to a patchwork approach that fails to address the systemic nature of the problem. China can learn valuable lessons from other countries that are also grappling with subsidence. First up, Italy. Venice, known for its beautiful canals, is combating subsidence by building massive seawalls. These structures help protect the city from rising sea levels and prevent further sinking. Over in Indonesia, Jakarta is sinking fast. Their solution? They're building an entirely new capital city from scratch, relocating key government functions to higher ground to avoid the sinking issues plaguing Jakarta. China needs to address the root causes of subsidence with innovative urban planning and sustainable development. The decision on how to proceed is crucial. China must act now to avoid reaching a tipping point where the choice between sinking or swimming becomes unavoidable. One of the most critical issues contributing to subsidence in China is the depletion of groundwater. The country has been extracting groundwater at an unsustainable rate, faster than it can be replenished. This practice has been exacerbated by recurring droughts, which reduce the availability of surface water and increase reliance on groundwater. In many areas, excessive pumping has significantly lowered the water table, causing the land above to sink. The impact of groundwater pollution is staggering. In some towns, the contamination is so severe that nearly every resident has been affected by cancer from consuming tainted water. Despite these dire health consequences, the response from local authorities has often been inadequate. Instead of addressing the root causes of pollution and cleaning up contaminated sites, there have been disturbing instances of intimidation and suppression of information. Local officials in some cases have silenced dissent and withheld crucial information to prevent public outcry and accountability. Other countries have shown that proactive measures can make a difference. From strict regulations to community-driven cleanup efforts, there are lessons to be learned. In addition to groundwater extraction, mining and industrial activities contribute significantly to land subsidence in China. The country's extensive coal mining operations, for instance, have caused substantial ground destabilization. Despite global calls to reduce coal consumption, China continues to expand its coal mining activities, further exacerbating the problem. Oil extraction and other industrial activities also play a role in subsidence. The removal of oil and other resources from underground reservoirs creates voids that lead to ground collapse. As these activities continue unchecked, the risk of subsidence increases, posing a threat to infrastructure and human settlements. China's rapid urbanization and construction boom have resulted in the proliferation of skyscrapers and other heavy structures. These buildings exert tremendous pressure on the ground, contributing to subsidence. Cities like Shanghai, with their dense concentration of high-rise buildings, are particularly vulnerable. The weight of these structures compresses the underlying soil, causes the land to sink. Addressing land subsidence in China requires a delicate balance between continued development and the implementation of sustainable practices. This involves rethinking urban planning strategies, adopting more stringent regulations on groundwater extraction, and investing in technologies that can mitigate the effects of subsidence. One potential solution is the use of managed aquifer recharge, where excess surface water is directed into aquifers to replenish groundwater levels. This technique has been successfully implemented in several countries and could help stabilize the ground in subsidence-prone areas. Additionally, stricter enforcement of pollution control measures is essential to protect the remaining usable groundwater resources. China can benefit from collaborating with international experts and learning from the experiences of other countries. Innovations in subsidence monitoring and mitigation can provide valuable insights and help develop effective strategies. For example, satellite-based remote sensing technologies can be used to monitor ground movements and identify areas at risk of subsidence. This data can inform targeted interventions and improve the effectiveness of mitigation efforts. The issue of land subsidence in China is a complex and multifaceted problem that requires urgent attention. The combination of rapid urbanization, excessive groundwater extraction, and industrial activities has created a perfect storm, putting millions of people at risk and threatening the country's infrastructure. While some efforts have been made to address the problem, a more comprehensive and coordinated approach is needed. China must act swiftly to implement sustainable practices, invest in innovative solutions, and collaborate with international partners to mitigate the effects of subsidence. The future of many of its cities and the well-being of millions of its citizens depends on the actions taken today. The time to act is now, before the sinking land crisis reaches an irreversible tipping point. And that's it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Luxury Xplore for more interesting content such as this one. I'll see you in the next one.